Hello and welcome to this Coffee and Cloud series event. We're live on the web as well as available on demand. Today's topic is the Windows 10 end of life. And before I jump too quickly into the topic, a little bit of info about the session for those of you who are here live. The audio is muted. That avoids any background noise. So if you have any questions, there's an icon on the top or right-hand side of your screen. Click on that, open the questions window. I can track it, make sure we get them answered before we go away, as this session is designed to be a quick hit. I'm happy to stay on after the session and after the recording to answer any additional questions you might have. We'll work to get this up on our website as well, and we'll share out the link for that generally within the next 24 hours. So if I don't get it done before I go home today, it'll happen sometime tomorrow or over the weekend. Reminder that our Coffee and Cloud series is one of many resources in our library that you can read, watch, or use to explore to get more information, particularly around technology and cloud computing services for small and mid-sized organizations. With that, let's dive in to our topic of the day, the reason we're all here live or watching on demand, and that is that Windows 10 is hitting its end of life. And so what does that mean? It means as of October 14th, 2025, Microsoft will issue no new features or functions, no free bug fixes, no new security updates for free. In fact, no bug fixes at all, unless there's a security issue, and then you'll have to pay for that. I'll get into that in a minute. And no support from Microsoft. It's a pretty big shift. Microsoft's view is that Windows 11 has been out long enough that it's okay to do end of life for Windows 10. It's sort of their new. They had roughly the same timing with Windows 7 when Windows 10 came out. Now, it doesn't mean you have to leave Windows 10. It doesn't mean you have to upgrade all of your hardware and your software. So let's dive into that in a little bit more detail, because you have a couple of options. One, you do have the option to keep running Windows 10. Now you can do that, and sort of the pro of that is there's no upgrade costs if you need to upgrade your existing machines or buy new ones to replace machines that aren't compatible. You may have, you won't necessarily have performance issues going forward. We know that some machines that are compatible and will support Windows 11 really don't have the processor power or processor speed, the number of cores, the speed of the cores, or enough memory to really run efficiently with Windows 11, particularly when you start adding Office apps and other business apps on top of that, so you don't have to worry about performance issues. You do have the option for extended security update programs. Microsoft has said those will be available. Typically, that'll let you pay for, on a per machine basis, security updates only for your Windows 10 system for 1 or up to 3 years. They typically never run those programs more than 3 years. It can be as little as 1. To get a feeling of what that cost might be per laptop or PC, with Windows 7, the cost of the ESU programs, depending on your version of Windows, ran between $100 and $150 per year. We expect the Windows 10 ESU to be, a little more expensive than that. So for budgeting purposes, if you're thinking how much is it going to cost to extend security updates for my Windows 10 laptop versus adding more memory or buying a new laptop, I would plan on, I would project $150 to $180 for the year. Now, ESUs may be available for free if you have a Windows 365 subscription. So this is not the pay one and done version of Windows 10, but the version of Windows where you're paying monthly. And the reason for that is if you're paying Microsoft monthly or annually for your Windows subscription, your upgrades and your enhancements are built in. You'll get extended support updates as long as they're available, whether that's just the first year or whether it's 3 years. Additionally, some specific versions of Windows 10 Enterprise, which is also subscription-based, and Windows Enterprise IoT have included in those subscriptions any extended security updates. So you might be able to take advantage of those. If you're a small, mid-sized business, the chance that you have Windows 10 Enterprise or one of those versions is pretty slim. If you have questions, reach out to us. I'll share contact information at the end of the session, and we can help you determine that. Now, there's some downsides to staying on Windows 10. One is that you have a very high exposure to cybersecurity risks and attacks, particularly if you don't do the extended security update program. Future application updates may no longer work properly. Generally when Microsoft end of life comes to effect, application developers stop testing and building for that platform. So if you have a custom, if you have a financial system or customer warehouse management or inventory control system or ERP system, and they add a new feature, that new feature may not be tested to run on Windows 10 because it's past end of life. Additionally, that extended security update program, as I mentioned, costs money. And so there's a value proposition here that each of us need to weigh. Your other option is to do the upgrade. And this really comes in at two levels. You may be able to upgrade components. So you can say, oh, gee, I've got a good clock, good size processor in my laptop, but I only have 8 gig of memory. I'm much better off and much more reliable with 16. Oh, my laptop offers that as an upgrade. I'm going to order that upgrade. It's an end user installable chip or card. That's great. Or I can take it into depot service and they can put it in for me. That's great. You can update that. The other type of upgrade is when you just got to replace the machine or replace the machine with something comparable that meets the compatibility. And there's there's really a couple reasons why you need to upgrade. One is the system you have is not compatible. It means Windows 11 won't install on it at all. You'll get a compatibility notice. The upgrade won't happen. The other is it's just underperforming, whether it's CPU or memory. Generally, you don't need more disk space for Windows 11, so that's not as much of an issue. An advantage of upgrading to Windows 11 is you're going to avoid performance issues running on devices with insufficient resources. And again, I look at my laptop and its current configuration. It's compatible with Windows 11. Windows 11 will be slower. Running apps on Windows 11 will be slower than Windows 10, given my processor speed and number of cores and given my memory. Pros, you continue to get release of new features and functions. In fact, when you go to upgrade, it's a reasonable time to decide whether or not you want to subscribe to Windows 365 and move to that model, or continue or pay for the upgrade or take advantage of the upgrade. The other pros, it's fully supported by Microsoft, which means you can get support. And whether you're working with us or another Microsoft partner, they can get support for you if you're running Windows 11. The cons of this is it takes time and money to do component upgrades. Replacing an entire laptop can be expensive, and I'll talk about some of the things to think about as you make your plans when it comes to managing the cost of this. And you have a small risk of application compatibility issues, meaning, if you're running, again, a custom business app, particularly one that's not a packaged software or a cloud service from a mid-size or larger provider, they may not be fully rewritten and adapted for the current release of Windows 11 with all the latest updates. And so in that instance, there's some things, some steps you should take. First off, is we definitely want you to take an inventory of all of your Windows devices. And, not just, this is laptops, it's PCs. If you're a small manufacturer or distributor and you've got Windows, motherboards inside your process control systems, and those are running a version of Windows, find out what it is. If you need to talk to that vendor and figure it out, do that. Next is to check compatibility and configuration for Windows 11 support. So one is the device compatible. Can you even do the upgrade? And secondly, if you do the upgrade, will you have enough CPU speed and capacity and memory capacity? And again, the recommendation there is 4 cores of processor, and the general recommendation now for best practice is 16 gigs of RAM. So it's a step up there. If not, will you be okay? What are you using the machine for? Is it low processing? Do you not need that much memory for what you're doing? You might be okay. And then the other aspect of compatibility is that device upgradable? Sometimes you can add memory to a laptop. Sometimes you can't. Well, most desktop systems allow you to increase memory depending on how it was configured when you first bought. It might not be, you might not just be able to add memory board, chip boards. You might have to actually remove the existing ones and put in, the same number but a larger capacity. So, for example, if you have a device that only has 2 memory slots and you've got, 8, 8 gig of memory and there's two 4 gig chips and you need to upgrade, you're going to need to replace those two 4 with two 8 gig chips. If you've got a laptop, with 8 gigs and it's got two slots and one slot is an 8 gig chip, then you've got a second chip. You can add the other 8 gig. And so you sort of have to take a look and understand what's in each machine to do that. We recommend getting one system up on Windows 11 sooner rather than later, making sure any custom or download or desktop-based business apps are going to run on Windows 11. Now, clearly, tools like anything from Microsoft and major Microsoft partners like Adobe and others will work, generally will work. We're really talking about, do you have, an industry-specific solution for managing your dispatch of your field service people? Do you have an inventory or distribution system? Do you have a packaged software that's been customized? Those are the things you're going to want to go through and check your critical business functions and make sure they're going to work without any problem. With that information, you can draft an upgrade plan. And by machine, you can know whether you can or can't upgrade. And again, you might need to leave some machines on Windows 10 to run an existing business application until that application is Windows 11 ready. So when you look at the devices you want to or need to upgrade, identify whether you're just upgrading the operating system, whether you're also going to have to upgrade components if possible, or if you're going to have to upgrade and replace the entire device. And that'll sort of map out what you really need to know. And so we take that, and here's some keep in minds, okay? There will be a demand crunch. In fact, in today's CRN magazine, which is a trade publication for companies like mine that track this stuff, the vendors, the manufacturers like HP and Lenovo and Dell are preparing for a spike in orders in the first half of the year and even going into Q3. And partners are commenting that they're doing that as well. We are trying to help you prepare. We're preparing ourselves as well. As the closer we get to October 2025, because a lot of businesses procrastinate or it takes time for them to do the analysis and get their plans in place, expect a demand increase. There may be issues with supply, and I'll talk about that in just a second. The second risk to what we're doing here is with the change in our federal government administration, all the talks of tariffs, it's very unclear right now what, if any, tariffs are going to be imposed, particularly on key players such as China and Mexico, where a lot of components are manufactured and a lot of assembly work is done as well on devices. And so this can, we expect the increase in demand may push prices up anywhere from 5 to 15, maybe 20%, probably not that much, probably just in the 5 to 10% range. But tariffs come in. If a 60% tariff on electronics happens from China, and there's a 20% global tariff for every import, which would include machines manufactured in Korea, Taiwan, Indonesia, etc., and then a 25% tariff on Mexico, expect the cost of a laptop or a PC to jump anywhere from 10 to 50%. And it's a wide range, and we really don't know what's going to happen. We don't know the timing of what's going to happen with these tariffs. And so that's coming up as well. And then the third thing I've alluded to already is supply chain issues. And while AI isn't yet driving, yes, some business, I'm going to say AI isn't yet driving laptop and desktop demand. There is some. All the major manufacturers now have AI designed machines. They're very high end because they have multi-processing units in addition, or MPUs in addition to the normal CPU and the graphic processing units to facilitate the horsepower necessary, the processing horsepower necessary for AI. And so, but where the demand is from the AI space is in the construction of the data centers to support it. And so when you look at the growth and development of AI supporting data centers, they're pulling in, the chips we use in our servers now are the same chips we use in our desktops and our laptops. And so they're pulling in processing chips, memory chips, other types of chips and components. It's the components where the supply chain pressure is going to be. Now you combine the supply chain, issues that are happening just in the general market, tie that to an increase in demand from small businesses and consumers when it comes to component and system upgrades and throw in the tariff risk, our recommendation is to take the steps I outlined, take them quickly, and make decisions. In fact, we're a managed cloud service provider. We help our clients with their on-premise components, but it's not core to our business. We're actually looking at ramping up an online store that'll make it easier for you, our customers, and other people who are aware of us to literally look at our distributors' warehouses and see what's available, spec a system, get a match, get a quote, place an order, and get it shipped to help expedite the process of getting any upgrades or upgrade components that might be needed. And so, as always, like to wrap up with next steps. 1, assess your needs. That's the inventory. Evaluate. Again, not every system needs to be upgraded or fully upgraded. We've had a couple of small businesses say, hey, I have 10 PCs. I need to buy 10 new ones. We took a look at them and it's like, actually, no, you need 2 new ones. There are 2 that you need component upgrades. Given their age, we'd probably say replace them. So buy 4, not 10. The other 6 will be just fine given your utilization. So inventory, evaluate, and test. Then plan your solution. Know which ones you're going to keep. And if you're going to keep them, please, please, please protect them with those security updates. Remember, if you're a small business and you have a security breach, there's a good chance you're not going to survive it. And so we want to avoid that, keep that from happening. Know which systems you're simply going to upgrade components and make sure you have the resources to do it. Someone knowledgeable in doing memory upgrades, CPU upgrades generally involve the motherboard, much less common, and which devices you'll need to upgrade, retire, and safely dispose of. Once you have your plan in place, you'll have a budget with that. If you can, we recommend moving early to avoid any pricing and availability risks. So if you want help, we're here to help. We can help you with the analysis and the planning, as well as the ordering and delivery and configuration setup of those devices. You can contact us using the information on the screen, the QR code, or the bit.ly CG intro call, which will connect you with one of our cloud advisors for a free, no obligation call. I've covered a lot of ground really quickly. Hopefully this was helpful. What is Windows end of life? What does it mean? What are your options? And how do you plan where you're going? Any follow-up questions, feel free to contact us. What I'm going to do right now is take a break, go off, stop the recording. So for those of you who are watching this recording on demand, thank you for doing so. Please contact us with any questions or concerns. We are here to help.